Joker set massive box office records all weekend and changed the face of DC films. With a massive opening weekend for such a new vision for DC films, you have to ask yourself, did the Joker just kill the DCEU? Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Comic Book Nostalgia. I'm CB Nostalgia, and today we're going to dive into the impact the Joker had on the overall DC Films universe. But before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody about our October giveaway. We're giving away a Blu-ray copy of Spider-Man Far From Home. All you have to do to get in on the prize is be subscribed, like this video, and leave a comment below. So when asking ourselves if the Joker just killed the DCEU, we have to start out by saying no. I wanted to open this by pointing out that this is a huge win for Warner Brothers and for fans of DC films. Money is money, and the return on investment for this project is already off the chart. So the word kill is a really bad choice. But let's step back. Joker broke all kinds of opening day weekend records. It overtook Venom for the weekend and made an estimated $96 million in the US and $234 million globally, and it's still climbing. Now, this is precisely what Warner Brothers suits want from a movie. Money. DC executives saw this movie as a huge risk. It was greenlit as an experiment for the DC Black Label as suggested by Todd Phillips. Fans scoffed initially at the idea of a Joker movie set outside of the continuity of the current film base. And we have to remember that Warner Brothers hasn't had often to celebrate like this. Batman vs Superman and Justice League were huge disappointments, and even though several films have done really good, none of them have had the mega success of the MCU. So as we look at this, one of the things we do have to understand is the Joker didn't kill the DCEU, but he may have changed it, or maybe modified a little bit. Now, there's a strong possibility that DC and Warner Brothers is headed into more solo projects and less team-ups. They've literally said as much at an executive level, and shouldn't come to any shock to any fans who have actually been paying attention. Actually, the Joker is literally the first installment in a new direction they were already moving on. And did they cancel Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84, or even The Trench? No. There's no death. There's just a different focus on smaller groups and individual characters. Just like comics have done for decades. We typically only got team-ups for really big events, not every other movie. This is a new strategy that Warner Brothers is following. These smaller character-driven films also have a much smaller budget, meaning a much smaller risk. Warner Brothers is kind of known for having cold feet on some of these projects, so you will likely see more of these small budget projects greenlit. Now, what I think is going to happen is going to vary from project to project. A lot of the leftover stuff that Snyder initiated will not cross paths as much as most fans would like, if at all. And the success of Joker probably won't help some of these old Snyder-influenced films, but I don't think it'll hurt him either. Shazam, Aquaman, Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and Wonder Woman all exist as part of the old Snyder DCEU universe, and they'll continue to move forward. Each of them individually telling their own tales without much influence from the outside world. Several of the other projects will play into this rather nicely too. Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy will be completely self-contained and maybe even pre-populated. We already have a full roster of villains and potential supporting characters already lined up. To me, Matt Reeves seems to be looking to give birth to a complete Bat universe right out of the gate. Actually, we already know that there's some word that Nightwing and Batgirl are already being planned as part of his story arc. I suspect we very well may see a family of Bat movies such as Nightwing, Red Hood, or Batgirl leading to Bat team-ups as mini Justice League movies, just not quite as big or as expensive as Justice League. I suspect movies that are in production or near release probably won't change a lot. Wonder Woman 1984 is in the can and they're working on post-production, and Birds of Prey is in the promotion stage. But don't be surprised if these films are written as standalone movies. If you watched her video about Wonder Woman 1984 a couple weeks ago, Patty Jenkins said that she thought Wonder Woman movies should be very similar to James Bond. Each movie is a tale, and they all are technically connected, but they're not part of an ongoing storyline that needs to be followed to understand everything. Supergirl, Superman, and the New Gods probably will end up being their own self-contained universe, or just seeding lightly across each other, but not very dependent. Right now, New Gods is actually the only thing we know that's moving forward at WB, but the studio has said they are working on Supergirl. But let's be real, WB has said they're working on dozens of projects for DC Comics, and most of them never come to fruition. A couple of the rumors could give us an idea of also what's going on, and probably are worth a couple of seconds. Now, the rumor that J.J. Abrams is taking over is pretty persistent, but has not been verified. He develops a ton of personal intellectual property, and to me, it seems like a much better long-term financial plan for him to focus on that so he has some ownership. That just makes sense. With that said, a J.J. Abrams-headed DC Films would be a new face and a new direction for the whole franchise and could be embraced by the fans. It really boils down to how the executives see their own IP. There's also this persistent rumor of a Lex Luthor solo movie following in the wake of this Joker film. Now, it seems this rumor is sourced with Mikey Sutton over on Geekosity on Facebook. I have no idea if this is true, but in theory, all the plot points that were laid out just seem to make logical sense. Luthor also can easily play a sympathetic bad guy. Heck, they made Pablo Escobar look sympathetic on Narcos, so why not? Now, these rumors are tough, and I don't attack scoopers, but I also don't want to lend any weight, so check it out for yourself and decide. Actually, we have a new show coming up called Scoopers and Scrapers, which will cover scoops and the people who drop them, but that's for another time. So the Joker hasn't killed the DC Universe. He's actually injected a lot of cash into it. Remember, these films need to be successful, and they need to make money. If that doesn't happen, our favorite DC Comics superheroes will disappear. Now, will this change the face of some upcoming projects? It very well could. The movie is making a lot of money on a very small budget, and a very high return on investment is exactly what Warner Brothers executives are looking for. In any case, our favorite characters from DC films are obviously going to continue to live on. With nearly a dozen projects in the works, I seriously doubt the DC Films universe is going anywhere. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like below, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.